So I've actually been saving some of these stories from. I know we've seen each other since I got back, but I haven't told you these stories because they're silly, goofy. So
I was
I'll tell
hoping you
now.
wouldn't tell me anything because I was like, no, we gotta save it for the pod.
So before I had left, we have a friend, and he gave me an edible, and it was like a really small gummy, literally the size of like a little chiclet piece of gum. And he told me, and he smokes like every day, like consistently, like every fucking hour, right? So he said, I eat half of this and I'm
ate
smacked.
half?
Yeah.
Oh
He's like,
my
I eat
God.
half of this and I'm smacked. And I was like, okay, cool. Like on my way to Mexico, I could share it with my boyfriend and we'll be cool for the ride. Anyways, he didn't want to do that. So I was like, that's fine. I'll just eat the half, whatever. And it was just a lot of commotion going through there because I had a backpack, but we didn't have any bags. Like I didn't have any checked bags or carry-ons that were allowed on because I only checked in a personal item. So like my backpack was my personal item. My dad had gotten a checked bag and then his personal item, and same thing with him. But my boyfriend did not have a checked bag. So everyone's kind of for themselves. And my dad brings his fucking carry-on, a fucking
A
checked
checked
bag, and then a cooler, which is the size of like a huge backpack. I'm like, Dad, like, and my mom and my sister had already left the airport. So if we couldn't get through, he would have to leave it there. And I'm like, why are you like this? Why are you like, he always wants to bring some extra shit. And
Wait, what wasn't the cooler?
just like, he just wanted to bring the cooler itself. So he had just put like
Okay.
other stuff in there. And he was like telling me, put your backpack in the checked bag because there's space in there, and then you take the cooler. And I'm like, you're making me do all this shit. And if it falls on me, like, it's my fault, because it's supposed to be like mine. And whatever. He was like getting pressed at me, and I was getting pressed like, oh, and also the name on my ticket was spelt wrong. It had like a C, and it wasn't supposed to have a C. And I told him, like, I'm freaking out on the way. And I was like looking it up, and they said that as soon as you see it on your ticket, like 24 hours within, like when you purchase it, you're supposed to tell them to correct the name. And I'm bugging out because I'm like, I bought that ticket a really long time ago when my sister bought it for me. So I wasn't able to like see it. And then now I'm on my way. They're not going to let me get on the fucking plane because my name is wrong, even though everything is correct, right? So I'm bugging out. I'm telling him my shit is already wrong, and they're going to tell me I can't fly with this shit either, and you're just creating a lot of problems for me. So I was getting stressed, and I go up to the lady, and I tell her, like, hey, is there any way you guys can change my name? If there's a fee, I'll pay it, whatever. And she was like, yeah, like, well, I'll just do it for free, since it's just one letter. Yeah, so that was cool, but still, my dad put my bag in his fucking checked bag. Anyways, at that moment, we're like in the TSA line, like it's kind of long, whatever, which is when I remember that my stizzy was in it was in my bag that was supposed to go up with me, but now it's in the checked bag.
Right.
And I'm like, fuck. Because you're not allowed to have a battery, like vapes or anything like that in
the
checked bags.
one. Okay.
Yeah. So I was like looking it up, and they're like, no, it's cool if you have it on your carry-on, but it's illegal if it's in the checked bag. I'm like, fuck. So I'm tripping, right? So we're in line, and I have the edible in my pocket, and it's in one of the baggies, like that's like for weed, right? So I'm like, fuck, I have to eat it and then dispose of the bag because I'm not gonna go through and they're gonna see it. So we're getting closer. I put the edible like half in my mouth, half out of my mouth, and then I just toss the wrapper thing. And then everything is happening so fast. So
Dude,
like,
I'm like anxious right now.
yeah, everything's happening so fast. And then since my boyfriend hadn't flown in like years, he didn't really know the process or anything. So I'm like trying to get everyone prepped, like here's your passport. Here's all your other stuff. The guys and TSA agents, like, they're acting mad hard and they're like, let me see your documents. And I'm like, fuck. And then in all of that commotion, I accidentally eat the entire edible. Like, it's half into my mouth and everything. And I'm like trying to get everything like settled. I eat the entire thing. Okay, so there was that. We still had to wait about an hour to board the plane. So I'm chilling. I'm like, you know what? It's fine. Maybe he was playing. Maybe maybe he was playing that he that he got really smacked. So then time is going past and I'm starting to feel it and I'm like, fuck. So I'm there and at one point I get really scared, like, no, I really hope this is the peak. I kept telling myself in my brain, like, this is the peak. After this, you're done. I know this feels like shit, but after this, you're done. And it wasn't getting any better. I turned to my boyfriend and there was still like maybe 30 minutes left until we got on the plane. So we're chilling there next to the fucking gate or whatever. And I turned to him and he's seen me before, like when I'm high and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I'm really high.
High.
And he's like, oh, you're good or whatever. He's like, whatever. But this time I turned to him and I was like, I'm coming to you like really fucking scared. I was like, this isn't me trying to joke around. Like, I'm coming to you from a place of like, help me. And he didn't know what to do. He was like, drink your water, like whatever. I was tweaking. We get on the plane. It's only getting worse. I'm like trying to compose myself to get in because I know also if they see you like fucked up, they're not going to let you fly.
You know what you look like? Oh, have you ever seen Casper?
Yeah, but that was like a really long time ago.
Like the machine and Casper's like an egg and his eyes are just like drooping down. Never mind. Go. No, I'm sorry. That's like what you look like.
So I'm tweaking, right? And we got on the plane. Everything's fine. My boyfriend is sitting like behind me, so I think like one seat over though, so if he looked through the little like crevice he could probably see me, but my dad was somewhere else. He was like way in front. So I'm like there, I'm like, fuck, I'm by myself, like I'm tweaking, I'm in between these two like dudes and whatever. The plane starts taking off and it's at this point where I'm like in and out of consciousness. I'm like, holy shit, like this is it. And at this point, even the flight attendants have to be like secured into their seatbelt so no one can get up. At that point, I like feel it coming. I'm like,
oh my god.
I'm like, no, bitch, you're not gonna throw up, not right now.
Bro, if I'm sitting next to you and I hear that,
not right. Exactly. And I was trying to be so quiet and no one heard me. Surprisingly, no one heard me. But I gagged really loud. I gagged really loud and I'm like, bitch, stop. Like, drink your water. You'll be good. Drink some water. Oh, the second the water hit my stomach, it was like the moment of defeat. That's when I was like, and then I had my mask on, right? So but still, I wasn't going to be that bitch and be like, oh, like she threw up on the plane. So I didn't get up. I threw up in my mouth and then I swallowed it. It touched my mask a little, but I swallowed it.
I don't know how
it happened twice.
Oh
it
my
happened
god.
Twice.
The amount of self-control that you have, dude, I can never do that.
I held it in my mouth and I'm like, you can't let it out. And I even had my water bottle, like I had drank most of it. Yeah, and I had it like open just in case I had to like spit it out. But no, I was like, fucking swallow it, bitch. So I did.
Oh my god.
It was really bad. After that, I fell asleep and I was like, oh, fuck this. I was like, I don't want to remember any of this when I wake up. It was really bad.
I was asleep though.
It was fire.
It was good.
It was really good. But also I didn't have my headphones, which was like really popped.
Yeah,
Like my dad had them because I let him borrow them. I let him borrow, them. And he forgot to give them back. But like he didn't use them because he didn't have music downloaded on his phone. And I did. So I'm like, what the fuck? And then my boyfriend had headphones and his phone, but he forgot to download music. So like nothing was working.
I would have asked. I would have looked at the little crevice and been like,
No, but yeah, it was pretty popped.
oh my God.
Let's
I was
not do
not
that
expecting
again,
that.
beloved.
What I was expecting was you getting up, going to the bathroom, and like when in that moment when nobody can get up, I thought that's when you were gonna get up. I didn't think you fucking held that shit in, bro. Like I could never.
No, I know.
Oh my God.
It was so nasty.
I'm proud of you.
Yes.
Sube el volumen.
Hautbox.
Tiene algo enorme para ti.
Si te ofrecen droga, te van a decir que se siente bien padre, que te vas a reír.
No,
Do you ever get that feeling of like your ears popping? Like, is that not
Yeah.
like a very painful experience for you?
Well, not really, but last time that I went back in August, on my way back, I like lost my hearing for like 2 days because I'd come back and I was a little bit sick. Like I was catching a cold. I didn't have COVID though. So I was just catching a cold and it was very like sinusy. So on the way back on the plane, I was really congested and then my ears got really like se taparon. So I couldn't like pop them. And I tried to do everything. Like I chewed gum, I drank water, I swallowed, I like held my
pinched your nose,
nose.
yeah.
And like nothing worked. And it got to the point where it was so incredibly painful. And I was 1 hour in to the 4-hour flight. And for the next 3 hours, I literally bawled my eyes out because it hurt so bad. I thought they were going to like rupture. Like that's how
Same,
bad
dude.
it hurt.
It's honestly one of the worst experiences fucking ever.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
definitely.
Piercing.
Yes, it's very piercing. And then I couldn't hear for like 2 days. I was just like
That's
sitting here in
scary.
silence.
I would have accepted that I have lost my hearing at
At
that
one point I did, but then I was like, I hear a little bit very muffled, and I'm like, that's good enough. As long as I can hear a little bit, I'm golden.
Did you put me on to The Sound of Metal? Was that you?
To the what?
On Amazon, The Sound of Metal?
No.
Have you seen The Sound of Metal?
Me putting you onto, what is it, a book?
No, it's a movie. The
Oh.
Sound of Metal. You haven't seen it?
So.
I promise you, this is a movie you're gonna love. 100%. Like I want you to genuinely watch this movie. Take like the hour and a half to 2 hours to watch this movie and focus on this movie. And you're probably gonna cry. You're gonna be amazed. It's a great fucking movie. But it's about deafness. Is that a word? Being deaf? Yeah. But
That's
just
really
trust me on
interesting.
this. You're gonna love it.
Okay. Remind me. I'll do it.
I was telling you the other day that following a certain order of events, I've been feeling very excited lately, very grateful. And I think the main reason is because it finally clicked to me after following Friday's sweater drop that this podcast has impacted a lot of people and people genuinely like really enjoy being part of this community.
Right.
And the amount of people that listen every week too is something that also clicked with me. And it's I think this whole weekend just thinking about that and finally accepting like what this podcast is and what it's going to become is I just feel very blessed to be right like here and in this moment right now.
Present.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's incredible. And with the sweaters selling out too, I think that also was it was a fun time. Huge moment for me personally.
Yeah.
Because again, like the fact that we made these and people really want them and like they want to wear it, like what the fuck? That's so crazy. That's so crazy to me. But I was also a little disappointed that everybody was able to get a sweater.
Right.
And it's something that we talked about. We were like debating back and forth on this. Like, should we put out more? Should we not put out more? Like, here are
Right.
the reasons why we should, what we shouldn't. But ultimately, we decided that we're actually going to put out 40 more sweaters.
Yeah.
and
doubling the first order that we
Yeah.
had, just because, like you said, we feel like everyone deserves a better chance, like a higher chance of getting one, especially to those who like really have supported us from the beginning, like wanting them to have the chance and the opportunity to be able to grab one, you know?
And I'm not sure if you even remember this, but like when we brought up the idea of sweaters and we were like, oh, how many we're gonna sell, I was like 20, because genuinely I didn't think 20 was like a lot. I was like, like, can we really get 20 people to buy a sweater? Like, do 20 people even want to buy a sweater?
Yeah, I
Like,
think that's why
that
we
shit.
ended up going with that number, because it was safe.
Yes.
We knew at least 20
Yeah.
people would buy them. And we played it too safe.
You know what? That's a really great way to explain how I've been feeling lately, is that I've been playing it too safe. And like, fuck that. Like, I want to put a lot more time and effort.
Danger.
And just like risk into any
Yeah,
of this.
yeah.
Because like, that's how we got here. We took a risk. So like, let's just take some more risk and just fuck it.
Yeah, I think
know?
everything good that has happened to us has been a result of taking a risk.
Right. And so why should we play it safe with this?
Right.
But yeah, so those are going to be available when? Tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Friday.
Tomorrow. And we have taken into consideration time zones and all that stuff. Because we don't want people to be camping out and
Losing
like staying
sleep.
up. Yeah.
I felt
And,
bad.
like,
I felt
also
so
missing.
bad, dude.
Yeah. I like woke up. It was like 7 in Mexico. I was like, I'm gonna wake up early for this. But dude, people
up at
were
5 in
waiting.
the
Yeah,
morning.
they were up
I
early.
felt terrible.
So we are gonna change the time. If you guys go on the Instagram, we are gonna be posting when is gonna be the best time for everyone for the launch. So we're really excited. We hope you guys are really excited. And yeah, I feel like a lot of people have been waiting on the restock.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just happened.
So again, just one more time, thank you to everybody who's already gotten one.
Yeah.
It's very special. That's the best I could describe it.
Yes, we appreciate you guys. And also send us pictures of you guys wearing it. I think the most excited thing about it is like me getting to see people's outfits and how they style it. Cause let me see your fun pants. Let me see what you guys wear this with. But I'm really excited.
Me too. So I want to hear all about Mexico. I want to hear all these stories that you brought back.
Oh my gosh. So I'm going to give you guys one little update. And I know people like fiend for this chisme because it's ongoing. But I will tell you guys this. If there's any time to fight, it's going to be this December. It's going to be this December when my family goes back for the holidays because all my tias are going. And we're all just going to be there. So this is the reason that I say this is because there is an update on Mari y Juan and my other tío. What was his name?
Kike.
And my tío Kike. Oh, these messy hoes, dude! I swear to God. Wait, should we smoke a little bit?
Yeah. Honestly, I like the idea of smoke breaks. Well, we have to do it because of TikTok.
Yeah.
Fuckers, but
Yeah, we're on Strict 75.
I like the idea of having a smoke break so that people listening could also take a smoke break and
Yeah.
remember.
For sure. Gotta rip it on the highest setting.
Shit's die, bro. Fuck.
I charged it before I went to Mexico because I was debating taking this one or that one, but this one definitely looks more like a fucking pen than like this. I took it apart and I put it in my makeup bag. Like I was saying, Ernesto said it was fine, so I'm like, if Ernesto said so, it's good. But I even took a Sharpie to the thing, so like because it has like the weed leaf, so I Sharpied it.
You were
But it was
shaking,
good.
huh?
No, I was shaking in my boots. I was high as fuck and shaking that. At one point, we were at the airport, and when we got through, I was telling my boyfriend, I was like, dude, if cops come and like they're nearing us and like asking for us, if they take me away, tell my dad anything else, anything, just not that it was because of weed.
Oh,
And he
my
was
God,
like,
you never
what the
hear
fuck?
the end of it.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. But it was fine. Everything was cool. We made it back. But going back to this chisme. So we went for Dia de los Muertos, right? And it was the first year that my grandpa has passed. So my dad had vacation time. He was like, we should go. It was supposed to be a family thing. My sister wasn't able to get vacation time. She had like a project for work. And then my mom decided to not take those vacation days and then take them in December instead. So she didn't go. So it was just the three of us. And I was a little bummed because I was like, no, like it's not going to be this full experience. But that was just me tweaking. It really is what you make of it. So I went in with like a positive mindset, like it's going to be a more personal thing. So whatever. It was a good time. We had fun. My boyfriend had fun. But we went with the intention of being around and celebrating all this like cultural stuff that I've also never gotten the chance to experience. But, you know, I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So then Tuesday comes around, which was November 2nd. And my family had bought a lot of my deceased family members coronas, and those are the ones that you take to the cemetery, and it's like a nice decoration for the grave, right? And my family had gotten some big ones, so we were taking them to the cemetery that morning. It was kind of like early-ish in the probably afternoon. So then when we get there, see, I wouldn't have expected literally any of this. We get there and my dad is pulling up with the corona. He goes in first and then me and my boyfriend follow. Tell me why. The second we get there and I look up and really pay attention, there is a woman there and some kids. And I didn't really, it didn't like recognize in my brain until she looked up, and then she looked at me, and then she looked at my dad, and me and my dad looked at each other. We didn't say a word. We ignored her. I started talking to my dad like, hey, where do you want this? Whatever. This bitch had the audacity to put flowers on my grandparents' grave and bring candles for them and have her kids there and just be around my family after she was explicitly told to never in her life come near us ever again. And I personally think she wanted to be seen. She was waiting for someone to get there to see her. But when she saw that it was my dad, she left immediately. She like grabbed her kids and she like left. And my boyfriend had no idea that it was her, because then he was like giving me stuff and I'm like, don't interact with them, don't talk to them, like don't say anything. Right. And he was like, oh, like okay. And then he didn't know who it was until later, and I was like, that was that stupid Mari bitch. And he was like, what the fuck? The fact that she showed up, so disrespectful. And my dad was pissed. So we were chilling there. We were chilling there for the rest of the afternoon. And then,
just to get a clear understanding, 2 questions. Did your dad ever talk to her, like confront her about anything?
No.
And so why did she leave immediately after seeing like specifically your dad?
Specifically my dad, because my dad is seen as kind of the head of the household now that both of my grandparents are gone. So he was kind of left more in charge of stuff.
Of like the overall.
Like overseeing the family, right? Okay. And also because my uncle has said some bogus shit to my dad He claims like you want to be in charge of everything. You want to take all the terrenos. You want to all that stuff. And my dad is always like, no, like I don't care to take anything. Like my parents said that everything that they left is for everyone. So
Right.
I'm just trying to make sure that everyone kind of plays their part. And my uncle's just super defensive. And I know that that bitch is telling him all this shit, talking about your brother wants to stay with everything. He doesn't want to give you a piece of anything, whatever. So he's believing all this, right? So there's beef within like her and my dad, because in her eyes, like, oh, he's taking my bag away, basically.
Yeah.
So whatever. So she saw my dad, she left. If it was any other uncle or any other family member over there, she would have stayed. I promise you she would have stayed, because that's like just the audacity that she has, right? And yeah, the rest of the afternoon, we were chilling there. My other uncle comes. My poor uncle. I feel so sad for him. But you know what? Like, I'll get into this later. But he was there, and my dad straight up told him, like, I saw her, she was here. I don't want her coming near me, especially at my parents' grave. Like, that's extremely disrespectful. Like, if you have any contact with her whatsoever, tell her to never do that shit again. My dad sent me to go get completely different candles just so he could get rid of hers and like all
Good.
her stuff. So I went out, we got candles, we brought them over, and he was like, no, like none of her shit is gonna be here. Yeah, like after that, we didn't really talk about it or anything like that. And I knew also that my dad had not told any of his other siblings, other than the ones that were already there in Mexico and like knew what had happened, because the rest of the siblings were all my tias who are here. And I just knew if he would have told them, like shit would have went down. Like shit would have, like they would have messaged each other some shit. But I know that he didn't tell him, and I'm pretty sure he's gonna tell him either now that he's back. He's either already told them, or he's gonna tell him for like Thanksgiving or some shit. And that's why I think December, when we all go, like shit is gonna pop off, because everyone's gonna be there, and we'll see. What
was that thought you had about your uncle? Because you're saying like you feel so bad for him, but you're gonna come back to it.
Oh, okay. Because literally the last day that I was there, we went to go eat with my tia, and my dad had mentioned what had happened, and she was saying like, oh, well, I hope you know that he's still going up there to go see her. And I'm like, what the fuck do you mean? And she's like, well, he talks to your uncle that's here. Who is it? Who's the...
I think Kike is the one we feel sorry for.
Okay, so my tío
I hope
Juan. So the one we feel bad for is Kike.
Okay.
The one we hate
It's
is Juan.
Okay.
All right. Hopefully that's the order we had. If not, then bear with us. But she was saying like Mari still talks to Juan here through the phone, whatever, but your tío Kike still goes and visits her like out there in Mexico. And I'm like, I'm not going to feel bad for you if you keep going and like doing all this like same shit. Like, do you not care that your brother kind of just took your girl? And now your kids are like calling your brother dad. I'm just like, what kind of Sweet Home Alabama shit is this? But I'm like just appalled, and that's why like I feel bad for him, but not really as much as I did before, because I'm like, you keep going like back to her, and it's like that's not it. But they're kind of popped.
Fuck it. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you one thing. So the topic of like my parents not getting along all the time, like getting along with each other and like work on their marriage and everything. This comes up in my therapy sessions. And every time I say, like, I just don't know why they keep, and like this cycle just continues and continues. They go back to being toxic and shit, right?
They're
She's
still
always like,
together, but then they still like
yeah,
continue being
yeah,
around.
exactly. And like, she's like, I was like, she's like, you have this expectation that people are gonna make the best choice for themselves, and I'm like, stop, like, stop.
No, for real.
She's like, yeah, you have this expectation that people are gonna make the best choices for themselves, but in reality, that is all they know for the past 30 years, 30 plus years. That is literally their life. And one day, maybe they'll realize that this is my life, but it doesn't have to be my life. But like right now, they're comfortable living in that feeling because that's the only feeling they have right now.
Right.
And so hearing about your uncle, like going back to that situation, like still being involved in all that, it's sad to hear because like there's hope for him,
Right.
but he has to deal with that shit on his own. Like there's no one's gonna tell him he's never gonna hear it until he's ready for it. You know?
Right. And who knows
And
if he even will ever.
exactly. And going back to that, you have to personally be okay with that because that's your uncle. And like that's the part that sucks the most.
Yeah.
And like
Having to see it.
at a certain point, you're not gonna even wonder why he's doing that. You're gonna accept it, and you're just gonna wish him all the luck in the world.
Right.
And
And you know what?
hopefully, just to finish this thought, and hopefully in that energy that you're sending him, that's what clicks in his mind. Mm-hmm. It's just receiving something from you.
Right.
But yeah,
That's why I feel like, because for me, I'm a bitch to hold a grudge, you know? Sometimes. But whenever I hear my dad talk about the situation, he's always like, you know what? I can't say anything to him. You know, like I just kind of have to wish both of them well. He's like, I would hate to say it, but I even wish her well, you know, because they don't really they're
Yeah.
just not making good choices and stuff. And the only people they're hurting is themselves, but also the kids, whatever. But he's like, you know what, to each their own. And he's told his brothers, like, whatever you guys choose to do, live your life, cool. Like, do that, you know? But he's not going to be the one to constantly worry about them because he knows that he has to worry about his own family and, like, he has his own things to worry about. And he's not going to spend all of his energy, like, fixing
Right.
things or whatever. And he's like, well, I just know that this is what my parents would not have, like, they would not want any of this, but it's already happened. There's nothing I can do. All I can do is support my family and just go forward with the wishes that my grandparents had for everyone. So just sucks.
wow, good people, bad choices. Like, do you truly believe that?
Yeah,
Even when it comes to your uncle and Mari, good people but bad choices.
I would think so because they're just products of their own environment.
Sadly,
Yeah.
fuck, dude.
Wait, is this turning red?
Yeah, the fucking things are dying. I just recharged mine yesterday too. The Stitzy.
All my shit's dying. Damn.
What is the point for you? Let's say either a friendship or relationship, where you made up your mind that like this just isn't someone that you want to continue a friendship with. For me, for example, once I lose your trust and like I catch you trying to play me,
That's it.
that's it for me because I'm like, oh, like I know, like, bro, people are so easy to read. Like I know you're trying to play me right now.
Yeah.
And you think I'm that stupid to fall for it. You know what I mean?
The
Like,
disrespect.
I catch them in their lies and shit eventually. Eventually it comes out and I'm like, oh no. Like I'll give him one chance to redeem yourself. You do it again and it's like, nah, cause that's saying that they say, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. Like I
Yeah.
100% believe in that.
Okay.
And so I'm gonna let you continue like lying to me. You know what I mean? It's done. So like, what point for you is okay? I'm not really trying to continue this friendship or anything or whatever it is to you.
Well, I think the one that you're saying, I think the one you're like saying is a really good one. I think that one would be like a very evident one. Like it's very straightforward. But I would say there's also like smaller things that I think would turn me off to like wanting to continue to pursue any type of like relationship with you. It would be like the certain thing. How do I say it? I would say like the certain things that someone like stands really strongly about in passing or whatever. Like for example, you're getting into an argument and you just have your own opinions. I guess like what people really care about, like truly, what they feel strongly about. So if it's like some just problematic, like red flag, you're slightly racist, like it's like in the undertones of how you speak about certain things, then I'm just like, hold on, like, what do you mean by that? You know what I mean?
Dude, I have a story for you. I can't tell this on here. After I'll tell you. But like,
No, say
yeah,
that.
no, I can't. I promise you, I can't.
Change the names.
No, not even with the names. Like, yeah, I promise. I'll tell you after
Okay,
this.
okay.
Maybe eventually, we'll get here. Just
To
not,
this point?
Not yeah, exactly.
not
Like it'd be
this
a year
soon.
from now, maybe 2 years from now. But we'll get back to this point.
Okay. Bookmark this.
This is this is so good too. Fuck. Okay.
Just say it.
No, I can't.
Okay. Cool. I'm excited now.
But you were saying like if someone's like slightly like you tell like they're slightly racist.
It's just like the undertones of like certain things that you
Yeah.
speak about where it's like, ooh, red flag.
Yeah.
You know?
There was another one that you had said one time that really caught my attention. You were
People who
saying when
spit?
people when people who talk shit, but like once you see that they're losing, they attack you personally.
Oh yeah.
That
They
one
start-
that's always stuck with me when you said that. I was like, oh, you're right.
Yeah. The second you say I'm ugly, like, you lost, baby.
Yeah.
Sorry. I would say things like that. Just like
Okay.
small, like red flags. But I do like the one that you said because it's a very like evident one.
Let's
Dis-
hop into some Discord questions.
Yeah, we could do that. Let's see. I like closed the chat up really quick because there was like a lot in like a really small span of time. So
You
I was
got
like, oh,
scared.
yeah. Okay. This first one says, "What has been the most impactful moment of your life so far, and why?"
Okay, so I think I just experienced this right now, actually, this weekend. This is kind of, I guess, like the first time, not the first time, but like the first time I'll be saying this on the pod is the next project I'm going to be working on is ice cream. I want to make ice cream. I want to make a healthier alternative to what we have now, especially in the Hispanic community where diabetes and heart disease and high blood pressure is a really common thing. I think there's great room to make improvement. So that's kind of like what I want to tackle next is making ice cream. I will be making 15, hopefully 15 liters this Friday. And
That's
I
a
want
lot.
and I want to find people who are going to taste it. So I'll send it to anybody who's willing to taste it and be honest with me. Like tell me your opinion and shit. I'll take you one too. I got you.
Hey.
But I'll be reaching out to a couple people in the Discord. So
Hey, if you're not in the Discord, you might as well sign up now because you guys want to taste this. How much was the fucking was it 5 gallons?
nah, there's no way that was 5 gallons. That was like a gallon.
No, was it?
It's like maybe 3, 2.5. I don't know.
I don't know. It was like it just barely fit in the freezer of what was it, Oreo, like cookies and cream
Yeah.
ice cream. It shit lasted forever, but it was so good. We ate
Dude,
every bite of it.
I love that.
Every
love that
bite
ice
of it.
cream.
So good.
But yeah, that's gonna be my next project that I'm working on. And yesterday actually, Sunday, I went to go talk to my uncle about the whole thing. I went to go talk to my uncle and aunt. By the way, my aunt wanted me to say this on here. She's like,
Plug 'em.
Yeah, she's like, if anybody who goes to the Michoacana Ridge, tell them that you came here because of this podcast, and she said she'll give you guys a little discount. So I want to see who actually does it though. I'm gonna go low key. But talking to my uncle about this whole process and like him trying to explain to me how he could help and like just like different avenues for where this ice cream could go eventually. I knew on my drive home, I'm like, this is gonna
is
be a
it.
huge moment in my life. It's like this conversation I just had with my aunt and an uncle. So I want to say that this has been a very impactful weekend, and yeah, this moment specifically.
This
So,
is really
I'll say
cool.
that.
Getting to see you in your most impactful moment.
Thank you.
That's cool. Now I have to think of one. You know what? I don't know if this is the most impactful, but this is definitely at least one of the most recent, like very impactful things that I think has happened. And it was when we got an email from Stizzy. That one was, I cried.
I was about to ask you because you texted me you were crying. I was gonna ask
I
you if
was
you were
crying.
serious.
I was like, there's no way. But that one was it was really special to me.
That's
So.
write that one down for the year of accomplishments.
Yeah, there you go. See, we're nearing it. So you guys get your notes ready. But that was a good one. This next one says a moment/memory in your life you'd wish to relive again.
I've been trying to think. You know what? Actually, first thing that comes to my head is playing with my cousins in their backyard, like climbing this specific tree, and like playing like tag around it. I'd say like those moments is like where I want to go back right now.
I like that. This one's kind of a tough one. Maybe like, because you know when they say like you never know when's going to be the last time, I would say I would want to relive the last day that I ever was with both of my grandparents. Like before my grandpa passed away, but even before my grandma passed away, which was like a while ago. Next question. Which cultural norms do you agree with and which do you wish to change? I think one that I would like to agree and keep would be the sense of like community and family.
Dude, I love that.
I've always said I really hope that my sisters have lots of kids because I would just love to have a big family around me. And because I like did what I didn't. I have a lot of family like where we live and stuff, but obviously we never got the chance to like all live together or anything like that. Because, you know, in Mexico, like that's very common. But I still feel like I had a good time growing up with a bunch of cousins and a bunch of tias, and the celebrations that we had were always like very full of life. So I would want to keep that going because I know for my sisters and I, it's just 3 of us. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
the kids aren't going to have, if they don't have like a bunch of kids, they're just going to have like very minimal like family members. And I would want them to like have a bunch, you know? But
I want
would
to
say
steal
that.
yours. That's a good one. I have 100% agree too. That's
With
like
what?
one norm, but the sense of
Oh, yeah.
community.
Yeah. A village. But I think one that I would want to change.
I have one. It's
Go
the
ahead.
whole machismo thing. And specifically when it comes to guys and their emotions and their response to asking them how they're doing is just saying, I'm good, or like, I'm
Yeah.
okay. Because they feel like they can't share how they're really doing because it makes them feel less like a man. I think like
Or it's
that
like-
to me,
Look like you're weak.
yeah, that to me is that's very weak. Like to not be able to show emotion.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
If like that's what they're, you know. I would say like, that would be the one thing I really want to have an impact on myself, and eventually people can be like, okay, it's okay. You know?
I like that. Guys, share your feelings, please. Do you think like a good way, what would you say is like a good way to start? Because I know a lot of guys right now are like, okay, yeah, this is definitely me. And you've done your own work within yourself and all that stuff. But someone that's just starting and is like, you know what, I don't really want to be like this. How would you begin?
I feel like I killed two birds with one stone because I also got really comfortable talking to strangers, especially like at my job where I'm meeting new people every single day. Like I try to ask them how they're doing, because it's easier to tell a stranger than it is to tell someone that like
You know.
knows you, right? So like at work, if someone were to ask me like how are you doing, I'll genuinely let them know, and most of the time it surprises them, and that's when they also open up. I got this guy today to tell me I've never heard this man speak more than like 3 words, and like very quiet dude. And I was like, "How you doing today?" And at first he was like, "Oh, I'm good, I'm chilling." And then he asked me, and I told him, and he's like, "Oh, you know what? I'm gonna go home today and like I have like a newborn daughter, so I'm gonna like get to play with her." Like he opened up to me so fast,
Wow.
all because I opened up to him, and I was actually like telling him like how I was doing today.
Just
And
a
I think like
vulnerable guy moment.
exactly, and like that's why I think it shouldn't even be like, how can I like, that should just be a norm. Like to really talk, like tell me like what are you excited to do today? Because nobody wants to be at work anyways. Like what are you trying to get out of here so quick for? What are you trying to do?
A
So
newborn daughter. Wow.
yeah, right. It was so exciting. I was like, dude, I can feel how excited you are.
Yeah.
Genuinely feel how excited you are. And the dude was, we just had a good time at work.
That's awesome.
And what was I gonna say? So like that's how I feel like I've gotten used to kind of talking to people about it. Is I also just tell strangers. So that's
I like
I
that.
don't know. That would be my advice, I guess.
Cool. Let's see. Next question. What is on your bucket list? I would say skydiving, but that's kind of a small feat. I want bigger.
Are you talking like a something you have planned for yourself, or like a fun activity? Like what is specific?
Like something you have to do before you die. You know what? I would want to own a farm before I die.
That's a good one. Mm-hmm. Like a big farm, small farm.
Just a farm, whatever I'm feeling. Because there's like different ones. I mean, you can have like animals and take care of animals for like that kind of shit, or just one to chill.
I'd like to invent something. I've always wanted to invent something.
That'd be cool.
Just don't have the money for it. But
Oh
eventually.
my gosh. So when we were kids, my older sister had like a science project, and she had to pretty much invent something. And she had this like really good idea that she knew in her heart was also a really good idea. It was like a popsicle holder. At the time, it sounded really cool.
No, this is probably something that exists today.
Probably.
And like back then, damn, dude, your sister was forward thinking.
But it was pretty cool. She had like sketches of it and stuff. She's like, this is how it would work. And I was like, damn. I don't
Just
know if she got an A or
genius.
anything, but I just remember that.
It was the teacher who invented it.
Just fucking took her idea. Oh my god. Next question. Where is the strangest place you've urinated or defecated?
Oh, dude, definitely that time I shit on the highway. Like that has to be that. That has to be.
That's so funny. I don't think it's not anything crazy. Like the fucking park over here. I had to go pee in the park. I've never like shit anywhere. Like
You don't
in like
want
that.
to.
You know? I think I've just peed. But okay, next question. Have you ever received a backhanded compliment? And if yes, how did you respond? I think growing up, my biggest backhanded compliment was like, oh, you're so skinny. I never knew how to respond to that. Where it was like, I know you're saying it in a bad way, but like it's not supposed to be. So I'm just kind of like, What do you want me to say?
Yeah, like what do you? I feel you, dude. I get you.
That to me was like the biggest one.
That happened to me like 3 times in the last month, actually.
Really?
And then my aunt being one of them. Not that it was a backhanded compliment, I just didn't know how to receive it. Because, like, I even asked, like, in a healthy way, like, what do you mean? Mm-hmm. And no one could even answer that question. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I feel like I look decent right now, not where
Like
I don't feel
normal,
unhealthy.
regular.
Right, I feel good.
Yeah,
So, like, is
same.
it like I don't know. Sometimes you gotta ask people, like, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, before I used to, because when I knew that it was supposed to be like a, like, oh, like you're so skinny, like eat a burger or whatever. So when they were saying it in that way, and they'd be like, oh, like you're so skinny, I would be like, yeah, thank you. I would just say thank you. But
Again,
now,
because, like, what are you supposed to say?
right? I'm like, thanks. But that was kind of it. But let's go to the next question. Okay, this next question is, would you rather have one wish today or 3 wishes in 15 years?
Just because I wouldn't even know what I would wish for right now, I would go ahead and pick the 3 and 15.
But what if you die between now and then?
Fuck.
And then you'll have none.
You'd go for the one right now?
I would go for the one right now.
What would you wish for?
I don't know. But I would do it now.
I think because of that, I will have to go for the. I
Do
really
it
have
now?
to go, yeah, for the do it now.
Because I think with the one you do now, you could secure things for the future. You know what I mean?
Oh, like you asked not to die in the next 15 years?
Well, no, not like that. But if, like, it wouldn't be like you'd make it worth it. You'd make the one wish worth it.
I heard a really good one time that somebody was asked, like, what would you do if you can have one wish? And they're like, anytime I go buy anything, I pull out the exact amount, like, from my pocket. I was like, oh, that's a good one. That's a very
Ooh.
practical one. I like that.
I like that. This next question. Heavy question about Travis Scott. Not to treat the Travis Scott event as hot gossip or tea. There was a lot of support for Travis. My jaw dropped when I read what happened, and do not start blaming anyone because that's missing the point. Lives were lost. What are your thoughts about it? I think it was a very unfortunate series of events that could have definitely been prevented if people would have just cared. Because I think
From all departments.
From all departments, yeah. Like the person said, like, I don't place specific blame on a single person, if not like the entire production
Right.
that happened.
Right.
As for like the EMTs to Travis to Live Nation, that was the company putting the show on and stuff. And
Was it really Live Nation? Wow.
so I think everyone is to blame.
Like you said, if people just cared a little bit more. Because I've heard stories that some of the EMTs weren't even CPR
Trained.
certified.
Right.
What the fuck?
How are you going to go? How
You're
are
gonna
you even
hire
employed?
these people?
Right.
What the fuck?
Especially when you know it's a concert of a person that has had a history of
Inciting a riot.
inciting commotion.
Right.
Definitely. Next question. What's the funniest insult you've ever heard? Oh, you know what? I'm going to read you this one Twitter one that I think is really funny. I really want to move to New York, but I don't want to fuck Pete Davidson. What do I do? That was a good one.
Oh my god.
Did you see that they started Twitter Blue?
What is that?
Where like you can pay $3 a month to have like better features, I guess.
Get the fuck.
Oh, you can undo tweets. with the blue.
What do you mean undo them?
Like you can like edit them, I think.
That's crazy.
It says right here,
$3 a
typo,
month.
forget
That's
to tag
wild.
someone. And like add free articles and shit. I don't know. None of this makes it sound like it's worth it, but who knows?
Did you see this one about the Subway cookies?
No, let me see.
Okay, so this is this picture. It says Subway Michael Damien cookies. And then someone said, this man gave the cookie a government name.
They have to change the name just because of that. Just because of it. Dude, have you seen the interaction that Cardi B has with Penn Badgley on Twitter? Fuck. So like Cardi B, he's a really big fan of Penn Badgley.
Wait, who's Penn Badgley?
Joe Goldberg.
Oh. Okay.
So she like loves the show, whatever. And I guess Penn Badgley had like an interview and he was talking about Cardi B, like basically saying that he likes her stuff, right? And she was like, what the fuck? Like, I'm famous. Like, this man knows me. And she was like geeking out. And he like replied to her, but then they had it was really funny because they had switched profile pictures. So it was really funny. And they were just geeking out. But then eventually Penn Badgley's team sent Cardi B a package and it had like a hat with like the U logo on it. And it was like a letter written in the way that like Joe Goldberg would have like spoken in the fucking show. Or it was like, oh, like I found you, you know? And it was really funny. It was really cool.
That's awesome. Is that still up?
Yeah, it's still up. You can see it. All right, we can go on to the next question. Is there anything you are super picky about? Their example was, like for me, I always have to make my bed and it has to be made a specific way. I would say mine, and it's a little broad, I would say it's like the way I make certain food. Everything that I make is made of obviously a specific way. So when my boyfriend tries to like make whatever I'm like, he's trying to help or whatever, and he doesn't do it the way I do it, I'm bugging out. I'm like, you know what? Just get out of my kitchen. I'll just do it. But I just have to learn to just let it
Share the
go.
fun.
Share. Not even share the fun. Like let him also just cook. But yeah.
I think my super picky thing is the things in my room all have a place. Like, if you were to come into my room 3 months apart, it would still be in the exact same spot that you saw it 3 months ago. Everything just has a place, and, like, it has to be there every single day.
I like
And
that.
it's slowly growing. Like, little, like, what is it called? People call them, not like trinkets. Are they called trinkets? Like little things that I just collect here and there.
Figurines and
Yeah,
stuff.
just
Okay.
like little things. It's
Okay,
slowly growing.
Cool. A collection.
Yeah.
You're a collectionist. I like that. Next question. Are either of you interested in learning a third language? If so, which one?
I would definitely want to learn sign language, if anything.
Sign language is a good one.
I think that'd be cool.
I would say perfecting my German.
That would be raw.
Right? I think that's really cool. My sister has like, okay, so cool story, but back in high school, exchange students used to stay like a week or something like that at our school. And there was this one German guy, because they were like sister cities. I don't know if like everyone has this, but my small town had 2 sister cities. One was in France and one was in Germany. So schools from those small towns we'd all exchange students or whatever. So this time we got like a German student, and my sister and her friends, and I think her boyfriend too, like befriended this German guy. I forgot it, like maybe it was like Jonah, something like that. And then whatever, he went back, and I didn't know that they kept in touch after all. Like, it's been like a very long time. It's been almost 10 years.
Wow.
And my sister, I remember her saying that she had a trip planned with her fiance to go to Germany and see this guy. I was like, what? That is so cool. Yeah.
That's raw, dude.
I think that'd be really cool.
Is the school why it's considered a sister city, or is the city itself considered why it's do you know what I'm trying to say?
No.
Like, why does Chicago have a sister city?
I feel like it might. You just probably don't know.
Okay.
I feel like it's common. We'll see. We'll look it up. All right. Last question, which is good that it's the last one because it's kind of long. This one says, so I was listening to a Call Her Daddy episode. So this happened a while ago, right? And did we talk about it on the pod?
For like a split second.
Like when it happened, right? It was like very early on. Okay. So I was listening to a Call Her Daddy episode, and something about friends starting a pod came up. It was discussed how oftentimes success breaks apart friendships or puts a stressor on things. How do you guys feel about that? The example they brought up was how at the start there was 2 girls, but then eventually they split up because one girl did more work than the other, but were paid the same, like editing and other things.
I will say this. I will say that you are someone that I've always either been inspired by, I've always enjoyed having a friendship with, and I've always loved the work ethic that you've brought into everything. Even before I knew you, I was like, I know I could trust her, 100%. And you have never, you're so open-minded whenever I'm like when we decided to split the work up, I was like, how about you take care of this, I'll take care of this. And you're like, yeah, fuck it, let's try it. Like, you were not hesitant at all to try it, you know?
Right.
And for me to be able to be comfortable and come to you with an idea like that, and for you to just, like, there's no way we're going to tell if it's going to work or not, let's just do it. That's very, that's the risk I'm telling you about. Like, okay, like, that's what I look for in a partner.
But you know what? If you think of it, it's, like, pretty low risk, though. You know, it was a risk, but we could have just gone back to normal. You know what I mean? Like, nothing would have been, like, super detrimental.
Yeah. Yeah, but, like what impact? That impact probably had a...
It had a
that
really
little
great...
switch probably had a great impact in how everything is right now.
Right.
And so that's what I'm saying. Like, I could trust you with these, like, thoughts that I have. And, like, hey, let's try this little change. And, like, just, you know, eventually see how it plays out. So, if you and I, at least I feel, were to ever have a falling out, ever stop being friends, I don't think it would be because anything personal happened between us. I think it would be because we both decided this is all the work that we've had planned to do. Like, let's say the podcast 5-10 years from now, whatever the fuck, the company we have together, whatever it is. This is all the energy that we have left to put into it. Now let's move on. Like, I want to go do something of my own. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, like, that's where I feel like eventually we'll split apart. Is because, like, we know that time is done. Like, we're not...
Like, it's
upset,
ran its course.
Bitter with each other, exactly. We both did what we had to do, and now that's it. And so I genuinely just want to thank you for being that partner and for being someone who I can continue to grow this with. And dude, I have so many ideas that I want, like, I trust you with 100%. So
I'm gonna cry. No, I don't want to. No, but thank you. Obviously, you also have been like an awesome partner. Also really open-minded and someone that I feel like I can always like bounce ideas off. You know, you're always like, if I say something and I'm like, oh, I wonder if this feels stupid. You're like, no, just say it anyways. So I'm just like, oh, okay. You know, so I obviously appreciate the friendship. And I think going back to what you were saying, when like, if it were to happen when, because I don't want to say we're going to obviously keep doing this forever.
Right.
It's just not realistic. If and when that happens, like you said, it wouldn't be because of something personal. It would be something that has to do with our lives. But at the end, we always knew like you knew what this was when you started.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's kind of like what I feel like we both understand. Because we've explained it before, we weren't like friends when we first met. We had just worked together and then we became friends. So like that kind of like working together has always like been there.
We came from a mindset that we're gonna do what it takes to do the things that we want to do and
Right.
to feed the people we want to feed. Like we both came into this podcast knowing like, you know, this is a huge step for both of us and we're gonna take this serious.
Right. And I think in the way you help me and the way I help you is the accountability.
Yeah.
Like I feel like we both keep each other accountable every single day.
I'm telling you, dude, ever since that first, what was it, Complex Con, when I went to Mexico 2 years ago, ever since that to me was a mini test for you. I was kind of okay leaving and facing the consequences of not having that stuff on time. I was like, okay,
Really?
this is huge for you, for this partnership.
Right.
You know, this is a huge chance I'm taking. Like, okay, let's see if it works out, and if it doesn't, then I'm ready to face those consequences.
If it's
but-
one thing I'm gonna do, it's fucking work.
and I
that's
appreciate
it.
that. And like that's when I knew. I was like, you know what? She told me she stayed up, and like you were going through the same feelings that I would go through. That's when I fucking knew. I was like, this girl right here, this is the person
That's
I want to
really
work
funny.
with.
No, yeah. One thing I'm gonna do, it's work. The work ethic, I will die with it. But yeah, I like that. I like that you're exactly the same. So yeah,
It's
that's
been
a good.
It's
that's
been a good
good,
journey so far, dude.
Yeah,
I'm
so
excited
far
for
it's
us.
only the beginning. It is only the beginning.
That's
So.
what a great point to end this episode on.
Yeah, yeah.
But just a reminder, we will be having only 40 more. I kind of want to end it at that, just to keep it a little bit exclusive for those who do get the sweater. So we're going to have 40 more releasing tomorrow. Let's say like it's 10 a better time, 2 hours more.
Yeah. How about we solidify and then we'll have it on the Instagram.
Okay.
For the time. Because we also have to make sure that one of us is there to
Yeah.
launch it. So
Fuck. True.
yeah. So we'll tell you guys, keep a lookout on the Instagram. Our Instagram is linked in the bio, in the descriptions of all these episodes, in our social media accounts. So make sure to be on there. But also, not that I'm trying to be unfair or anything, but if you are part of the Discord, you do get to know things a little bit earlier than the rest. So
Low key, we should do the release earlier on Discord. Maybe. Even like a minute earlier, like fuck it. Just let the first minute in.
we'll see. But either way, if you guys are not in the Discord, they know everything first. So get on there. Everyone's super nice. But yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank
we'll
you
see
guys
you
for
guys
joining us
next
this
week.